Hey everybody, this is Dr. Joe Borio with this week's Health Kick. And today I want to talk a little bit more about nutrition. Way back when, probably 2 years ago, I did a Health Kick on a video on a morning shake, a health shake that I have every morning to kind of start the day, get some good nutrition, get some good fuel, some good energy into the body. And today I thought I'd talk a little bit about foods and during the day foods and organic foods and all that other stuff. What the heck does all that mean and so forth? So let's talk about that for just a couple of minutes. There's so much information and misinformation and what is organic and what is non-organic, and even by the companies. And you know, not to be cynical, but organic costs more, and the reason they want to call it organic is they can charge more for it. So sometimes it may technically not be certified organic, or may meet some certification, let's say by a state, but not the federal level. It may not be approved by different non-for-profit agencies that call it organic. So one of the safe ways to move forward is trying to buy locally grown organic. I find that's the safest way to go. It's usually the less expensive way to go. Plus, you're supporting your local farmers. I can get in a little bit more on allergies. I've talked about it before, but what's really interesting is if you eat food that's local in your area, maybe you heard about eating honey if it's locally grown, because you basically acclimate, if you will, or immune yourself to the proteins in the air. So by eating a lot of locally grown foods, when it comes to food allergies or other types of protein allergies, it does help you out, not to get off on a sign tangent, but it does help you out to eat locally grown for just that reason alone. So that's a great reason. But when we get into pesticides and herbicides, that's really the biggest concern with organic, or at least was for a large number of years. And what the heck does that mean? That means that they put chemicals on the food so that the bugs don't eat it, and so that the weeds don't overtake the garden or the farm, if you will. But the problem with that is those chemicals are toxic. So I always say that if it kills anything living, we're alive, it's certainly not good for us. And now there's a dilution is the solution. So a lot of the people I've listened to say, well, look at, if you put that chemical in a body that your size, I weigh 220 pounds, you put it in a body that's 220 pounds, you know, it's such a part per billion, it's such a small amount. But you know, there's no amount of any toxin that's good, there's no amount of radiation that's good for you. So if I'm getting exposed to radiation, if I'm getting certain chemicals in my body, if I'm doing things that aren't so great to my body, you know, everything tends to build up, and it can certainly make me pretty sick. So when we talk about organic, we want to be we want the food to be free from pesticides and herbicides. Some of the active ingredients in pesticides and herbicides are arsenic or mercury or nickel. There's been some studies showing that a lot of the soy that we're getting is higher in mercury because of the soy protein that we get, which is used in essentially everything, is now being the pesticides have mercury in it. So now they use a lot of it on the soy. Therefore, when we eat it, we're getting higher contents of mercury. So there's a lot of reasons why we want to have organic, but the main reasons up until more recently were pesticides and herbicides. So you want to see, is it pesticides and herbicide free? That's number one. Two, now we're getting into GMO, which is really genetically modified foods. We're getting into genetically modified foods. What that means is that, you know, I hear this conspiracy. I shouldn't roll my eyes. I don't mean to be disrespectful of those that believe in it. My personal opinion, I don't think there's any conspiracy other than people want to make money. So what happens is you get a farmer who says, hey, if I buy this seed and it gets really hot or really cold or really dry or really wet or really windy, or the soil happens to be in this level of mineral content, my plant, my corn, my soy, my wheat, my carrots, my lettuce, whatever, tomatoes, they'll tolerate that. They'll grow within the environment. And that's the reason. But the problem is you're modifying the seed. So you're making the food hardier, and the body becomes less tolerant to it. So as a result, it makes it much more difficult to eat. When we get into organic foods that are meats, we get into our chicken, we get into our meats. We want our meats to be grass-fed. A good way to fatten up and create a lot of inflammation in the human body is to give it grains. Grains aren't really good for us. They're high in omega-6s and omega-9s, and too much of that out of balance with omega-3 makes us very inflammatory, makes us very sick. So we want grass-fed animals. We want grass-fed chickens. We want grass-fed cattle. We want grass-fed cows, and therefore we want the grass to be free. The grains, if they're grain-fed, they're going to be high in pesticides, herbicides, antibiotics, and hormones. So we want organic foods. That we want the cattle to be grass-fed. We don't, like a Colby beef, if you will. We don't want it to be given hormones. We don't want it to be given pesticides and herbicides in the food content. We don't want it to be given a handful of antibiotics every day. It makes the meat or the animal very sick, and then when you eat it, you're obviously getting very sick. So that all being said, we want to make sure that we're having organic. So what I'm going to close with is, I just made a salad here, and I've got some organically grown, locally grown tomatoes, okay, and avocado, which is organically grown. I got an avocado that's organically grown, and I got a chicken. Now this chicken, I made a roasted chicken, and this isn't the Food Network. Hi, Vito.
Can I come in?
Yeah. Here's my little guy, Vito. You guys probably saw him in our Italy pictures. But this is a roasted chicken that I made. This is a locally grown chicken. It's organic. And I stuffed it with lemons, organically grown lemons, and onions, and garlic, and salt and pepper and olive oil. And I'll tell you, this thing, I can't wait to eat it tonight. It's going to be unbelievable. So now we've got an organically grown, healthy grown, locally grown chicken. And then we've got this beautiful salad. You know, so what I did is I took some locally grown lettuce. I took tomatoes, an orange tomato, a red tomato. I took a pepper. I took some onion, locally grown onion. I took an avocado. I took some sea salt. I took some balsamic vinegar, and I took some olive oil, organic olive oil, and I mixed that all in. I'll tell you, you eat this, now you're really high in omega-3s, your inflammatory level's low, you're getting a lot of minerals in this, okay? And then you're going to couple that with some really good protein and some healthy meat from that chicken. No herbicides, no pesticides, no antibiotics, no chemicals, and that's the way we're meant to eat. That's the food and fuel that we're meant to put in our bodies, and that's going to ensure your kids grow up really healthy, and that's going to ensure that you grow up really healthy. Now you need to couple that with something really important, and that's a good nerve supply, and that means you need to be seeing your locally homegrown chiropractor on a regular basis as well. You need to make sure you get a good night's sleep, you need to drink water, you need to get good exercise, you need to think positive mental thoughts. And remember, guys, bringing this to a wrap, you, your mother, your father, your grandfather, your uncle, your cousin, everybody you know, right down to the babies, all need to be under regular, healthy chiropractic care. Guys, this has been Dr. Joe Borio. This is real live TV, man. My little guy's going to be running around. This has been Dr. Joe Borio with this week's Health Kick. Guys, have a great week. Enjoy time with your family. Enjoy time with your loved ones. Think about some of the great topics that we're talking about with you guys so that you and your family, in my mission, so that everybody can grow up to be very healthy and live a long and healthy life.
My brother turned 14.
Have a great week, guys.